the football. Last night's UEFA Super Cup, where PSG produced a stunning late recovery to deny Thomas Frank a first trophy as Tottenham Hotspur's boss. Goals from Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero gave Spurs a 2-0 lead, but with 5 minutes to go, this happened.
Romero comes out, Vitinha does well to work it to Lee, who scores! That's an excellent finish from Lee, and Paris Saint-Germain have a goal, and it's 2-1 now. Hakimi stabs it forward, Dembele whips it right across, and it's headed down and in. Gonzalo Ramos, and PSG never count them out. They've come from 2-0 down to make it 2-2, and Tottenham could not resist them.
Must have been all that pain from the Club World Cup for PSG. They poured it into this. Late goals there from Lee, and Ramos made it 2-2 and took the tie straight to penalties. PSG winning there 4-3. So let's speak to Spurs fan Chris Cowlin, who was at the game last night. Good morning, Chris.
Hi, Jeanette. How you doing?
Yeah, really good, thank you. I mean, last night's game, a tough one to take because you were so close and then didn't quite work out. Tell us what your thoughts were as those goals from PSG went in.
Yeah, of course, when that first PSG goal went in, I think that everyone knew exactly what was going to happen. But I feel like the club, Thomas Frank, the players, I'm sure they'll be devastated and they'll be hurting right now. But they should be very, very proud of reaching the Europa League final, of course, winning the Europa League and then going on to play this Super Cup game. But, Thomas Frank, in my opinion, needs a little bit more depth in the squad. But I feel like the players and Thomas Frank should be very proud going toe-to-toe with PSG, the Champions League winners. I think that a lot of neutral fans and a lot of Spurs fans were worried going into this game, thinking that we were going to get absolutely battered. But we really give them a good game, and we're very, very unlucky not to be lifting the Super Cup. But going into the new season, I'm quite impressed with what Thomas Frank's done so far in pre-season, and I feel like a few more additions into this squad, he can achieve something special, and perhaps we can get to more European finals. But I feel like overall the team and the squad and the club should be very proud of what we've achieved.
Where do you think you need to bolster up then? When you speak about depth, where do you think that needs to be in the squad?
Well, there's big talk at the moment that Spurs are in for Savinho at Manchester City and Eze at Crystal Palace. I feel like we need experienced players coming into this squad to help the new manager. You know, we've been here so many times before. We've seen that every single Premier League team have strengthened this summer. It's been a really big transfer window for so many clubs, and Spurs need to do a whole lot more. Mohamed Kudus last night was exceptional, in my opinion, for Tottenham, and he's one of the big signings that have come in this summer, but we do need a lot more. I feel like we've got a very different Tottenham going into this season than what we had last year, with Thomas Frank being so flexible tactically. As I said, I've been very impressed with him so far. But we need a little bit more, and to taste that glory of European success and to have that trophy parade that we did in May. Spurs fans want that all the time now, and the club have got to be very hungry for that success again and again.
Yeah, and I guess wins like that, your confidence as a squad, as a club, it goes through the roof. How do you hold on to that, especially for the first part of the season up until Christmas?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like next season is really, really important. And, it was announced yesterday that Christian Romero is the new captain. And, he's very ambitious. He's been there. He's won the World Cup as well with Argentina. So, he's going to want to be very ambitious going into next season and beyond. And, as I said, we've been through so many different managers at Spurs. And I feel like this transfer window is very, very important. The remaining couple of weeks, Spurs go big. We can achieve big things. And, like you said, when we've gone to a European final and been successful, and that parade was just absolutely incredible. It gives me goosebumps every time I think about it. It's incredible. You look to your left, you look to your right, you look everywhere. People are up lampposts and everything. It was an incredible day for the club. And when you taste that success, as players, as a club in general, and the fans, we just want that again and again and again. And hopefully, Spurs, it's not going to be too far away from us getting in more cup finals.
Do you know, it would have been a dream start for Thomas Frank yesterday had Spurs picked up that win, wouldn't it? But for PSG, they do show their class. Like they lost in that Club World Cup final against Chelsea. They are, of course, the Champions League champions, if you like. But as a squad, how impressed were you with PSG last night? And was it a true measure of what Spurs have gone through pre-season to show what they can do for next season?
Yeah, pre-season was very up and down, actually, because we had a couple of draws against a couple of League One sides. I saw us beat Arsenal 1-0 in Hong Kong. That was a really impressive display from Tottenham. And then last week we lost 4-0 at Bayern Munich. So Thomas Frank learnt a lot from last week's game going into PSG game. But the PSG, game, let's be honest and frank about it, they're one of the best teams in the world, if not the best team in the world right now. And Luis Enrique came out last night and said that Tottenham were the better side and deserved more, but unfortunately that is football sometimes. The winning team is not necessarily the best team, but they've got so much quality in their squad, so many Ballon d'Or nominees, but the momentum changed, as I said earlier, as soon as they got their first goal, the momentum changed in the game, and unfortunately it ended 2-2. And then, of course, it was a lottery last night when it went to penalties. Any team could have won. And unfortunately, it wasn't Tottenham. But as I said, overall, very, very proud of what this team has done to win the Europa League. It was a great experience, and hopefully we can add a little bit more quality now to the squad and move on.
Season starts, of course, tomorrow for yourselves. Saturday, the 16th of August, you're up against Burnley at home. Chris, I'm going to ask you, if you had one signing that you had to make for this season, just the one, who are you taking or who are you bringing on?
I've been saying it since 2019. Spurs have been heavily linked to Eze, and I feel like he would be a really, really good addition. And I feel like sometimes a player is born to play for a club, and I feel like Eze should be at Spurs.
That's a big call. Oh my goodness. Born to play for the club, Chris. I'm sure we'll be speaking plenty throughout the season. Really good to talk to you. That Spurs fan there, Chris Cowlin. Spurs, unfortunately, well, depends who you are, actually. Spurs unable to win that Super Cup last night against PSG. But that's a big call, isn't it, Rick, to say that Eze is born to play for Spurs. I wonder what he thinks about that.
Well, if he wants to come and play in North London, there's not really anywhere else, is there?
Yeah, well, I've heard the rumours. I don't like to talk speculation. We are the BBC. We wait till everything's verified before we report on it. Absolutely. But lots going on. Of course, football season starts tomorrow. The Premier League starts tomorrow. I cannot believe it. We are back in it. And that's it. Full throttle from here on in.
It's nice hearing Chris talk about the taste of success. Can you remember what it tastes like?
What is this?
Huh?
What is this? This is 28 minutes past 6 on a Thursday morning.
Welcome.
And you're trolling me. What? Can we get on with the show? Oh
yes,
my gosh.
we can. We're going to speak to the Athletics Jack Pickford after 7, and we'll have Chris Sutton here after 8. 28 minutes past 6.
No.